You need to watch this if you struggle with feeling stuck or wonder what really drives us to become more than we are. Friedrich Nietzsche. Now there's a name to conjure with. A German philosopher with a mustache so magnificent it could probably win a prize all by itself. He was a man who looked at the world, looked at everything we thought was solid and true, and gave it a rather firm poke. He wasn't one for simply accepting things because that's how they'd always been. His brain fizzed with ideas, but the one we're wrestling with today is perhaps his most famous and most misunderstood, the will to power. Now, hold your horses. This isn't about becoming a cartoon villain, twirling that magnificent mustache while plotting to take over the world. It's something far more interesting and, dare I say, more personal. Imagine a tiny seed pushing its way up through hard, compacted soil. It isn't doing this because it's angry or wants to dominate the other seeds. It is simply striving to become what it is meant to be, a plant reaching for the sun. This, in a nutshell, is the will to power. It is the fundamental drive within all living things to grow, to expand, to overcome obstacles, and to express their own unique strength. For a human being, it's not about ruling over others, but about mastering oneself. It's the artist's drive to create a masterpiece, the scientist's urge to discover a new truth, and the individual's quest to become the very best version of themselves they can possibly be. Nietzsche saw this fundamental drive everywhere he looked, from the smallest insect to the grandest human ambition. He believed that everything we do, every choice we make, is ultimately an expression of this will. When you decide to learn a new language, you are exercising your will to power over your own ignorance. When you train for a marathon, you are pitting your will against the limitations of your own body. It is a constant, internal struggle not for control over your neighbors, but for the full and glorious realization of your own potential. It's a life-affirming creative force that pushes us ever onward and upward towards self-perfection. So, when we talk about Nietzsche's big idea, let's banish those thoughts of jackbooted tyrants. Instead, think of the quiet, determined force that makes you want to be better tomorrow than you are today. It's the inner voice that says, I can do more, I can be more. It is the engine of personal growth, the desire to overcome our own weaknesses, fears, and lazier habits. It's the striving to compose the symphony of your own life, rather than just humming along to a tune someone else wrote. A rather exciting, if daunting prospect, isn't it? And it put our friend Friedrich on a direct collision course with some of the world's oldest ideas. If you found this intriguing, make sure to watch the full video for a deeper dive into Nietzsche's revolutionary ideas. And don't forget to subscribe for more thought-provoking philosophical insights. Your journey to self-mastery starts here. For centuries, long before Nietzsche and his fabulous facial hair arrived on the scene, humanity had a fairly clear set of instructions on how to behave. These instructions came primarily from two very powerful sources, morality and religion. They provided a framework, a kind of user's manual for being a good person. Generally, this manual told people to be humble, to be selfless, to put the needs of others before their own, and to suppress their more, shall we say, boisterous instincts. Think of the great religious commandments. Turn the other cheek, love thy neighbor, and view pride as a rather nasty sin. The ideal person was often portrayed as meek, obedient, and self-sacrificing. These traditional moral codes were, in many ways, a form of social glue. They held societies together by creating a shared understanding of right and wrong. They told people that their suffering in this life would be rewarded in the next, and that their true value lay not in personal achievement, but in their devotion to a higher power or a greater good. The focus was very much on the collective, the herd, rather than the individual. Personal ambition, a strong sense of self, and the desire to stand out from the crowd were often looked upon with suspicion. It was better to fit in, to follow the rules, and to not make too much of a fuss. Religion, in particular, played a starring role in this drama. It presented a divine authority, a cosmic judge who laid down the law for everyone. This was wonderfully simple in a way. You didn't have to wrestle with difficult ethical dilemmas. The answers were all there in a holy book. Your purpose was not something you had to create for yourself, but something that was given to you. Life became a test of obedience, and the ultimate goal was not self-mastery in this world, but salvation in a world to come. This framework provided comfort and certainty to millions, a clear path through the often confusing and frightening wilderness of human existence. So you have this grand, ancient system built on humility, obedience, and the promise of a celestial payoff. It encourages people to see their earthly desires, their pride, and their ambition as things to be overcome and suppressed. The good man is the one who denies his own will, who puts himself last, and who follows the path laid out for him by tradition. It's a powerful and deeply ingrained way of thinking about human life. And it was this very system that Nietzsche looked at, stroked his moustache, and decided was not only wrong, but actively harmful to the human spirit. Nietzsche took a long, hard look at this traditional good versus evil morality and came to a rather startling conclusion. He believed it was a sham. He called it a slave morality, an invention of the weak, the resentful, and the powerless to control the strong. He argued that ancient societies were originally led by strong, noble, life-affirming individuals who defined good as everything that was like them, powerful, proud, and creative. Bad was simply what was weak, common, and timid. But Nietzsche proposed, the weak and downtrodden, through sheer numbers and cunning, managed to flip this whole value system on its head. This inversion of values, as he saw it, was a masterstroke of psychological warfare. The weak, unable to compete on the grounds of strength, declared their own qualities to be the only virtues. Suddenly, humility was a virtue, not a necessity. Pity became a sign of goodness, not a condescending glance. Turning the other cheek was now noble, not just the only option when you couldn't win a fight. Pride, strength, and ambition, the hallmarks of the noble spirit, were rebranded as evil. In this new world order, the powerful were made to feel guilty for their own strength, and the human drive for self-overcoming was chained down by the demands of self-denial. Religion, for Nietzsche, was the ultimate tool for enforcing this slave morality. It provided the divine justification, the ultimate threat to keep everyone in line. By creating the concepts of sin and an eternal afterlife of reward or punishment, it instilled a deep-seated fear of one's own natural instincts. The will to power, that innate drive to grow and assert oneself, was recast as a temptation from the devil. People were taught to police their own thoughts, to feel guilty for their desires, and to live in a state of perpetual apology for simply being human. It was, in his view, a system designed to breed tame, predictable, and easily controlled livestock. This critique is not just an academic argument. It's a profound question about our own lives. Does traditional morality truly help us flourish, or does it hold us back? Nietzsche would argue that by telling us to suppress our ambition, to feel guilty for our pride, and to always put others first, it clips our wings. It prevents us from engaging in the difficult but necessary process of self-overcoming. It encourages a life of mediocrity by condemning the very qualities required to achieve greatness. He wanted us to see these moral codes not as sacred truths, but as human inventions that might have outlived their usefulness and were now stunting our growth. So, if the old rules are designed to keep us small, what's the alternative? For Nietzsche, the answer lies in embracing the will to power as a force for personal growth. It's about becoming who you are. This means undertaking the difficult journey of self-discovery, of excavating your own unique values, strengths, and passions from beneath the rubble of conventional wisdom. It requires you to stop looking outwards for approval, from society, from religion, from your peers, and to start looking inwards to discover your own internal law. This is the path of the Übermensch or Overman, not a Superman, but one who has overcome himself and lives by his own created values. This process of self-overcoming is at the very heart of the will to power. It's about confronting your fears, your weaknesses, and your lazier instincts and saying, "No, I will be better." It is the student who forces themselves to study when they would rather watch television, the athlete who pushes through the pain barrier, the artist who destroys a dozen canvases to create one masterpiece. Each of these is an act of power over the weaker, more comfortable self. It is a creative, life-affirming struggle that forges a stronger, more resilient and more authentic individual. It's not about being selfish, but about being self-realized so you can offer the world the best of yourself, not just a pale imitation of others. We see the opposite of this all around us, in the countless ways people follow rules without thinking. Consider the corporate drone who follows nonsensical company policies simply because that's the way we do things here. Or think of the slavish devotion to social media trends, where people adopt opinions, fashions, and even personalities not because they are authentic, but because they are popular. We are constantly pressured to conform to the herd, to accept pre-packaged beliefs about politics, success, and happiness without ever questioning if they truly align with our own spirit. This is the slave morality in modern dress, keeping us comfortable, predictable, and small. Ultimately, Nietzsche's philosophy is a powerful invitation. He asks us to be brave enough to question the beliefs we hold most dear. Why do you believe what you believe? Is it because you have wrestled with the idea and made it your own, or is it because you were told to? Questioning the established moral order is not about descending into chaos, but about taking responsibility for your own existence. It is about forging your own values in the fire of your own experience. It is the first crucial step on the path to self-mastery. So, take a moment. What beliefs do you follow without question? And what might you become if you dared to find your own way? The thought is both terrifying and thrilling, isn't it?